Hello, everybody. Here we are with Fruitful Trees at the most fruitful tree place you can find. If you want to find a tree, this is the place that I first went to when I learned about all these amazing exotic fruits. It's called Excalibur Fruit Trees, and they're so close to where I live here in West Palm Beach, Florida. They have a tremendous amount of selection of different fruits and exotic fruits from all over the world if you want to get these trees. Now, one of the problems I've had in the past, and a lot of people have, is they desire to have a tree, they just don't have a space for the tree. And even me, I have a big drain field, so how am I going to plant on top of the drain field? You don't want to do that. But there's always a solution. You can grow trees in pots, and most of the trees that they sell here, they're not in the ground. They don't dig them up when somebody buys a tree. No, they grow them in pots. Now, that might be common if you're getting a 7-gallon or maybe a 15-gallon, a 3-gallon, maybe even a 25-gallon tree. But they told me here, it's unlimited of how big a tree can grow in a pot. And they've taken me just around their little farm here, and they've shown me trees that were humongous, loaded with fruit in a pot. Sometimes the pot's in the ground. Well, the other day I came here, and it was a truck out here, and the truck had about 5 trees on there, and those trees were like 200-gallon pots loaded with fruit. And some of them had jackfruit on them, like big jackfruits on these big giant trees. And I'm like, wow, you don't need to have grass to plant a tree. And so today I'm here and I'm looking at this tree. This is a Glen mango tree. Look how tall this tree is. This is a Glen mango tree. And the amazing thing is, it's in a pot. This is a 200-gallon pot. And now, it's quite expensive to grow a tree like this. To purchase a tree like this. To get a tree like this, it's about $2,000 or $2,200 to get a tree like this big in the pot, just like this. Now, if you had the money and you didn't want to wait, you wanted to grow something immediately or get something immediately, you can get it right in the ground, and that might be 10 years of growth right there that you're saving by getting it like this. However, if you don't have a lot of ground, a lot of land, and you buy some trees, 7 gallons, maybe 15 gallons, grow them in the pot. You can get mangoes after a couple of years when you keep the tree small. But even if it's in the ground, I wouldn't have a tree this big. That means every tree that I have in the ground, I could potentially have in a pot, because I'm never going to let them get this big anyway. I don't want them to get this big. But it's just an example of there's always an answer when you're trying to figure things out. And like I said, start small, but look at it. Now, the drainage here, there's these holes here, so there's drainage here. Of course, the water, you'd have to keep it very watered. And you want to make sure that the roots aren't getting root bound. So you want to make sure you're upgrading it at the right rate. But this is a very big tree. I'm sure you can graft even other trees onto this. And this is just a great example of you don't need a ground to grow these trees. This is a mango tree. They grow better than other trees, but I saw a jack tree this size in a pot the other day. Eventually, you might need to either upgrade the pot or get it in the ground. But like I said, there's probably 10 years, maybe more of growth here in the pot. And it's for somebody's situation, it will be worth it. So I wanted to show you all that and check that out. And that's really cool. That's really cool. So Excalibur Fruit Trees here in West Palm Beach. I'll put their contact information below. And again, if you don't have patience, if you want something like this immediately, you can grow it in a pot. This tree's way bigger than I even recommend trees to be. But it can be done. It can be done. And that's a great encouragement. So yeah, so come on down and check it out, and don't let anything limit you from any space limit you from growing a tree. Okay, everybody, so that is the Glen mango, and it's a 200-gallon. Now, I did confirm it is around 10 years old, but I spoke to them here, and they said this needs to come out of the pot. This eventually will get root bound, and we don't want that to happen. So they said if you really want this to fruit really well, you're really better off getting it in the ground. They'll grow better in the ground, but it's possible to do it like this. If you keep this tree pruned, it's possible, but you're still better off getting them in the ground. But This is just a great example of what you can do. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Even if you want to use something like this in a pots for grafts, it's very seldom you'll find a 200-gallon or grow a 200-gallon plant in a pot, but it's possible. And just keep that in mind, everybody. All right, everybody, there it is, Excalibur Fruit Trees. I'm putting the contact information below the video. This is a wonderful place, and now that you know you have some room, even if you don't have the grounds for it, you can put it right in your driveway or right in your patio, a tree like that. So check it out and keep growing.